up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwanese chip giant TSMC has said they won't comment on reports that the U.S. ordered the company to stop all sales and shipments of advanced AI chips to China. As Chris Gorn reports, it could just be the latest in a series of moves by Washington.
Taiwanese chip giant TSMC is once again in the media spotlight. Recent reports say the U.S. was behind the company's decision to end all sales of 7-nanometer chips to China beginning on Monday. Reports TSMC is calling market rumors. The 7-nanometer chips are the kind used to train advanced AI models. If true, giving the order to halt shipments of them would represent yet another step by the U.S. to use export controls to slow down China's progress in technologies like AI. The controls have been in place since October 2022, so while sudden, moves like this one aren't exactly new.
I think that this has happened at all. It's not entirely surprising. Now, as for the timing, that is perhaps a little unusual. This has happened just after the election, but then again, the Trump administration does not formally assume office till January. And we haven't seen an annual update to the export control rule in October this year, which has been the case for the last 2 years. So perhaps this dovetails with a planned update by the end of the year.
The move also comes after TSMC chips were reportedly found inside equipment from Chinese company Huawei, a prime target of U.S. restrictions. China, for its part, has strongly opposed the measures from the start.
美方将科技和经贸问题政治化、工具化、武器化，阻挡不了中国发展，只会封锁自己，反噬自身。
But the tech competition between China and the U.S. leaves companies like TSMC caught in the middle. TSMC is the biggest company in Taiwan, and it produces 90% of the world's most advanced chips. And it's those chips that power the AI economy. With both China and the United States going all out to try and win the AI race, TSMC has become a major focus of both powers. While geopolitics may hinder TSMC from making certain business decisions, even losing access to the China market may not cripple it.
So based on quarterly earning reports from TSMC, their Chinese exposure has been anywhere from 12 to 16%. Obviously, there will be some pain as a business. You want to sell as many chips as possible. So any loss is one loss too many. But then will this loss be fatal in any way or severely undermine their bottom line and ability to stay competitive? I think not for TSMC.
Regardless of the financial effect of this latest move, businesses and governments across the Asia-Pacific are becoming more accustomed to tightening trade restrictions as the centerpiece of U.S. tech strategy. Devin Tsai and Chris Gorn for TaiwanPlus.
Construction workers unearthed an unexploded artillery shell at a building site in the southern city of Kaohsiung. The shell was found on land that's being developed into a future technology park. Workers alerted the military immediately. The military's Southern Command says they are handling the munition. This is the second time that unexploded ordnance has been found at a construction site in Taiwan in recent months. In August, workers found a 1,000-pound shell near a TSMC factory. Taiwan says no Taiwanese citizens or companies were involved in the exploding pager attack in Lebanon in October. Taipei prosecutors say the pagers carried the name of the Taiwan-based company Gold Apollo, but they were manufactured outside of Taiwan by a firm called Frontier Group Entity, which used the Gold Apollo name under license. 12 people were killed and more than 2,750 injured when pagers used by members of the militant group Hezbollah exploded simultaneously. Israeli media has reported that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed responsibility for the coordinated attack during a cabinet meeting. Shoppers in central Taiwan have come across drinks sealed with plastic lids printed with pro-China messages, prompting concern from the public. And as Jonathan Kaplan reports, this isn't the first time.
Taiwan is home to thousands of tea and drink shops, many of which use plastic seals with different kinds of designs and branding. But one shop in the central city of Taichung is under fire after their labels were found featuring political propaganda from China. Printed on the top of the cup were messages advocating unification with China and saying Taiwan is unable to be separated from the motherland. Messages causing upset to many in Taiwan.
对我们来讲是不太好，因为有一些可能，比如搞不清楚的，他可能觉得没关系，但我是觉得自由是很重要的。
有什么法律什么去避免它嘛，对不对？应该没有强制性的动作，可是我觉得这是他的自由。对啊，如果你不喜欢这个店家，就不要来。
Beijing considers Taiwan as part of its territory. That's despite never having controlled it. Alongside China's military constantly sailing and flying around Taiwan, Beijing has also made numerous attempts to economically coerce Taiwan and sow pro-unification messages among its citizens as a form of political warfare. The messages on this cup, however, are not a one-off. The exact same messages were also found on plastic seals further south in Yunlin County. The buyers there have since stopped using the plastic products, saying they originally purchased it from China due to the low cost. While buying products from China is very common, the incident has prompted government officials to urge for more oversight on these kinds of items.
今年8月，在云林才发生饮料封膜出现"中国统战"的字样。同样的事件，在今年11月的台中又再次发生，混杂在正常的封膜产品当中。这不仅让厂商难以预防，措手不及，也令消费者留下不好的印象。
As many shops in Taiwan continue to purchase goods from China due to low costs, it's possible these messages of unification could show up again. While the government has already raised the issue, it's still down to shop owners here in Taiwan to decide where they procure their products. Andy Xue, Jaime Ocon, and Jonathan Kaplan for TaiwanPlus.
The founder of Taiwanese chipmaker UMC, Robert Tsao, is suing the director and the spokesperson of China's Taiwan Affairs Office. That's after Beijing named Tsao on a list of what is called die-hard secessionists that it's vowed to punish for promoting Taiwan's independence. Tsao pledged $100 million to train a civilian militia to defend Taiwan against a Chinese attack. Tsao is suing based on Taiwan's laws against threatening people.
攻击我这些所谓的罪名，实际上是在颠倒黑白，在斗争啊。而作为中华民国的国民，我是在尽我国民应尽的义务。法律将来结果怎么样，这是另外一回事。可是我们立场，我们要坚持，台湾是主权独立的国家，你一个外国，你一个中共国，无权恐吓我们。
While China is unlikely to recognize a suit filed in Taiwan, Tsao says he's also seeking legal action in the U.S. and via UN bodies. The Philippines say it's looking to buy intermediate-range missile launchers from the U.S. to boost its defense against Chinese aggression in the region. In an interview with the Financial Times, the country's defense secretary, Gilberto Teodoro, confirmed that the Philippine military was looking to acquire the Typhon launcher system after the U.S. brought it the system for drills in April. The launchers could be deployed in the northern part of the country, which would give the Philippines the ability to intercept and hit targets beyond 450 kilometers. If more advanced U.S. missiles are used, this could boost the range to over 1,600 kilometers, making targets in China well within range. To learn more about what the new missile launchers mean for security in the region, Jaime Ocon spoke to Aaron Matthew Lariosa, a security analyst based in Washington, D.C.
Aaron, I want to first start off with this Typhoon missile launcher. Why is this system significant for security in the region?
There was a lot of speculation last year to see where it will get deployed first. People were thinking Japan, maybe somewhere on Guam, perhaps Okinawa, and it ended up being the Philippines. And the Philippines is a very significant deployment. And what the system actually brings to the archipelago. They stationed essentially a ground-based naval launcher that could fire Tomahawk cruise missiles that could reach the Chinese mainland and anything within the South China Sea. It's a very capable system, and it sends a really strong message. Strong enough that, China has made noise, let's just say complaints about the system being based in the Philippines since the deployment in April.
And what are you hearing from military officials in the Philippines? Is this part of a shift, or is there a clear consensus that this is kind of the way to go to manage this rise of Chinese aggression in the region?
Whenever we try to talk with the Army, obviously, you know how the Services Act, they kind of just say this isn't meant to deter anybody, or it's not meant to it's not specifically against China. That's what they always say. The deployment area, of course, very significant because it faces both the Luzon Strait, which right crosses Taiwan, and as you bring up rightfully so, the Bashi Channel, very strategic piece of water, big, very major transiting point between the first and second island chains. And then if we look westwards, that's the South China Sea where everything's been happening. So the deployment here kind of gives out both of those signals. It basically says, China, we could threaten stuff in the South China Sea, and we could also lock down this crucial piece of maritime geography.
And what are the implications for Taiwan? If this system is positioned at the tippy top near Taiwan in that waterway between Taiwan and the Philippines, does this bring anything to security for Taiwan?
So, very complicated question in terms of how we get there, how we get to the use for a Taiwan contingency operation. But let's say, let's take liberty and say Manila allows use of its territory in the event of that. You essentially have a launcher that could lob cruise missiles within a pretty large landmass just south of the main landing port, which is Kaohsiung, right? So this thing could affect a lot. The Americans basically get a cruise missile launcher base anywhere in northern Luzon, which is a big place. So those ramifications are pretty big for any Chinese force planners that want to do anything with Taiwan.
That was security analyst Aaron Matthew Lariosa. Every year on November 11th, e-commerce sites across Asia host what's been called the world's busiest shopping day. Consumers go on a massive spending spree, and this year is no different. Millie Hughes reports.
The biggest shopping day in the world isn't Black Friday. It's November the 11th, or what has become known as Singles Day. The phenomenon began in China as a celebration for single people, who are represented by 4 individual ones in the date 11/11.
我觉得单身就是多出一点钱嘛，就是可以买多一点东西。没错。然后就是这个免运又让每一次的购物体验非常的划算。我觉得这是一个非常棒的体验。
对，就是单身没事做，就是赶快 shopping。
The idea of Singles Day began with university students in Nanjing, China. But in 2009, Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba introduced a sale for the day. The promotion caught on in a big way, driving a massive spike in consumption. Now, every year, online platforms in China rack up billions in sales. Last year, sellers accrued nearly $158 billion during the Singles Day period. That's compared to the around $35 billion that shoppers in the US spend during the country's busiest shopping period, right after Thanksgiving, known as Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Here in the streets of Taipei's busiest shopping district, there isn't actually much going on. But that's because, unlike Black Friday, most of the Singles Day action takes place online.
In the past decade, consumers in Taiwan have bought into the Singles Day phenomenon, with online shopping platforms like Shopee offering special deals.
我们基本上都是以家庭生活用品、生活必需品，对，然后家电用品，然后小朋友的衣服，几乎都在网络上买了。
之前就已经就是放在购物车的东西，就是等到双十一以后，就是再下单，这样会比较划算。
就是一个消费主义的遗毒，就是要大家一直买东西。10月周年庆过完，还要再继续双十一买东西。
Singles Day started as a 24-hour shopping spree, but now it's become an event that starts as early as late October, giving shoppers ample time to splurge on everything from luxury goods to everyday necessities, on online platforms and at retail stores. And as the unofficial holiday continues to grow in Taiwan and across the Asia-Pacific region, it's likely Singles Day will continue to hold the title of the world's busiest shopping day. Joseph Wu, Wesley Lewis and Millie Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, check out these images of the World Cliff Diving Championship in Sydney, Australia. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.